Hello, traders, and I want to share a new concept trade with you that I started trading in my alert service, and I'm going to be doing more and more of this in there. So this particular trade is pretty interesting. I've traded it so far just 6 times, but it's had a decent return. The percent returns have ranged anywhere from about 11% up to about 27%. 6 out of 6 winners. This is the equity curve from those trades. And I've also traded it across a variety of different underlines, the SPY, the SPX, the Qs, IWM, and being able to trade it across different symbols like that helps confirm to me that the concept of the trade is a fairly robust concept. Again, I have traded this in my alert service. I'm going to start trading it more in my alert service when the conditions are right for it, and also develop this trade further. If you're interested in knowing more about the alert service and following along there, I'm going to put a link on the screen right now. It's $79 a month, and it is where I share a video of every trade that I'm going to be opening in the alert service. I'll explain why I'm doing the trade I'm doing, how I'm going to manage that trade, and then any adjustments to that trade over the period of a couple weeks before I get out of it. I will share a video on that as well, showing how I adjust the trade, providing my actual orders, and then also the exit of the trade. To show you a little more about this specific trade, again, I'm calling this a Dfly, which is a combination of a diagonal and a fly. It could also be a calendar and a fly. So I don't know, maybe a better name is the CalFly. Give me a comment. Let me know if you like Dfly or CalFly, knowing that it could be either or. So let me show you conceptually how this trade works. Now, butterfly is one of my favorite trades. I normally put on a put broken wing butterfly, broken wing to the upside, when the market sells off a little bit and volatility spikes up. That's a great time to enter one of those particular trades because you get a great reward to risk ratio. And I trade those all the time in the alert service as well when we do get a little bit of a pullback, and I'm expecting the market to maybe stabilize within a 100-point range or so, or bounce back up. That's my go-to trade for sure. If you want to know more about butterfly trades, by the way, I'll put a link on the screen right now too, where you can get a free video that explains the 7 top reasons that I like the butterfly as an income trade. But that's not really my purpose here today. So let's talk more about this trade. So the two components are a butterfly, which is, in this case, a flat butterfly. It is a call butterfly that I am putting on up above the market. We're currently trading here right around 580, and I've got this centered up at around 590 in SPY. Now I could center that wherever I wanted. A case could be made to maybe make this a little bit higher, but for right now, for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to leave it right there at 590. Now, how does this butterfly make money? Well, there's a couple different ways. First thing is just simply time decay. As time decays, our T0 line here, this green line, which is basically telling us the profitability in the trade, starts to mound up as theta decays, and that brings profitability into this trade. So that's typical, that's standard butterfly stuff. That's not really the unique aspect of this trade. So one of the unique aspects of this trade, though, is that if our market goes higher, what usually happens, usually if the market goes up, volatility drops a little bit. So in addition to creating profit through theta decay, a butterfly can also generate profit when volatility drops. So if our market goes up and volatility drops, take a look at also what happens to this butterfly. That brings even more profitability into this trade if the market stabilizes and volatility drops, or more often than not, our market moves up. And when the market moves up, that volatility drops, bringing more profitability in under this butterfly tent. So that's the reason for the butterfly component in this trade. So what's the next component of the trade, the calendar or the diagonal component? So the calendar or diagonal component I put on below the market And again, the exact point here is going to depend on my opinion of the market, how much I think the market might pull back, stabilize where it is, etc. But what are the key aspects of a calendar or a diagonal? First one, the same thing here. As time kicks off, theta decay happens, and that brings profitability into this particular part of the trade. But the other thing that can bring profitability into a calendar trade is an increase in volatility. Look what happens when volatility increases. The profitability on this grows considerably. So we're taking advantage of the best of two separate, distinct trades here. When our market goes down, volatility will often spike up. And if volatility spikes up again, that's when more and more profitability comes into this trade. So let's put the two together and see what that does for us in different market conditions. So if I marry these two together, it looks something like this. Now I've set this up so that it shows smaller on this screen so that I can encompass all the aspects of it. Let me move this back to today from a profitability standpoint. So when I first put this trade on, this is what it's going to look like. This is my T0 line right here. I'm essentially at break even, of course, when I enter this trade. But now let's play out the couple different scenarios. So the first one is time just clicks by, not much else happens, okay? So theta decays, and this thing has a very nice profitability tab all the way down here at the 560 range, all the way up here to about the that's about the 593 range, somewhere in there, 592 range. Very nice profitability in that very large range. But let's factor in a couple other things that can happen here. So if our market moves higher, volatility will often drop. So when that volatility drops, look what happens over here. We get profitability that starts to come into this butterfly. So if our market moves up closer to that butterfly, that's where profitability starts creeping in through a drop in volatility and also through time decay. So those are the two things that will bring profitability in on the upside of this trade. Now, let's take a look at the other side. So right now, to the downside, our break-even's all the way down here around that 555 mark. But if our market starts to sell off, what usually happens when the market sells off? Volatility usually starts to tend to go up. So if volatility goes up in this, look at how wide this tent widens out for profitability. Now, rather than our break-even being at 555, it's down here at 550, and that will continue to widen out as the market gets higher and higher volatility associated with it. So this tent is like automatically widening itself as volatility comes into the trade. And of course, that's bringing more and more profit into the trade as well. So this particular trade needs to be put on in two separate pieces, but I'm putting on the upside butterfly here. And again, that may be a flat fly, may be a broken wing fly, depending on my personal expectations of how high the market might go, where that might stall to the upside. And then the same thing here, the calendar, where I center that calendar may vary depending on where I think the market might go to the downside. So what I'm looking at is I'm looking to read the market. I'm looking to give my best guess of an upside point the market might stall at. And then I'm going to give some buffer to that upside. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing to the downside. And then I'm going to give a little buffer to the downside. And I'm going to enter these two separate pieces. And then if the market goes up, this one's going to start kicking in and hopefully bringing in that desired profitability. If the market goes down, this one will certainly help catch me and bring in additional profitability as volatility picks up. So that's a quick overview of the CalFly or Dfly. You tell me in the comments. And again, this is going to be something I will be trading in the alert service when the conditions are right. So if you want to know more about it, check out the link that I'll be providing on screen here so that you can see more on that as well. Take care, everyone.